You know, a metal festival doesn't always have to be a big dirt field or a parking lot packed to the brim with metalheads, alcohol, and heat strokes. A festival doesn't have to just be a physical place, but it can also be a state of mind, an essence, an energy that you can create around any metal events. For example, I had my own little festival over the weekend when I went to Las Vegas to see Danzig with Behemoth, Twin Temple, and Midnight, and then immediately gunned it to LA the very next day to see Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, and Ministry, and in between had a very metal feast at Gorilla Mall and went to a rad Halloween store. See, anything can be a festival if you're creative, so headbang the like button, stage dive onto the subscribe button, and windmill the video to your friends, and if you're a fan of this channel, consider becoming a member. Memberships start at just 99 cents a month, and each one really helps me towards starting the first metal festival on the moon. And with that said, let me tell you about my own little personal shock rock metal festival weekend. The adventure starts with a quick drive to Las Vegas, the land of lights, sin, and regret. I go to pick up my friend at the airport there, and we go check in at the Mandalay Bay. By the way, quick side note, this friend happens to be an excellent graphic designer who's done some of my thumbnails. The good ones, the ones that look like they were done by someone who knew what they were doing, those were her. She does great work as an independent artist, handling everything from thumbnails, logos, websites, brochures, magazines. So if you need some work done for your business or your side hustle or whatever the hell you're doing, consider checking out emilytdesign.com for your graphic design needs. That is not a paid advertisement. I am not sponsored yet. That is actually my friend I went to Vegas with. But if you like that little ad right there and you want to sponsor me, hey, hit me up. Anyway, Mandalay Bay is where Psycho Las Vegas was held for a couple years, so I'm pretty familiar with the hotel and know that it's an awesome place. But after being accustomed to the metal debauchery of Psycho, it did feel like something was missing. That something being a few thousand trashed metalheads all wasted on various substances wandering around. And funny enough, having stayed here I think 3 times now, didn't stop me at all from getting completely lost pretty much any time I went anywhere. But Mandalay Bay was chill as fuck. For those that don't know, everything in Las Vegas is crazy expensive. Even if you don't do anything crazy, just your average food and casual drinks might break your bank. I challenge anyone to find a decent meal in Las Vegas that costs less than $15. For example, I bought 2 energy drinks at the Mandalay Bay. I usually get at home for about $5 total. Here it was 14. So there's a nice little nugget of information for anyone planning a trip to Vegas for the first time. But a place I do recommend for a decent meal is this Irish pub located in the Mandalay Bay. It just has a much cozier vibe than most of Las Vegas, and their food is damn good. You can get a good filling English breakfast here for roughly $17, and it's a far better deal than you'll get at a lot of other places in the same hotel. After eating there, it was time to do exactly what you'd expect a couple headbanging degenerates would do before a metal show full of dark, satanic, spooky bands. Chill at the pool. Mandalay Bay's pool area is super nice. It has a beach with sand, a wave pool, a lazy river, and it has a stage in the middle of the pool. When Psycho Las Vegas was taking place here, bands like Cannibal Corpse and Power Trip played right on the stage, causing massive tidal wave pool pits. But since this was just a regular day in Vegas, I just had to look at it longingly and remember those days in my head while weird beach music played around me and I was surrounded by Vegas tourists. No joke, when we walked out to the beach at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas with sunshine and great weather and sand and beachy drinks, they were playing Simon and fucking Garfunkel over the speakers. The fuck? I mean, I think they're fine enough, but hey guys, let's go to the Vegas beach pool and have an existential crisis. Despite that one oddity, it was super nice and relaxing to chill there, taking in the rays and the pool while waiting to see Metal Elvis. After a couple hours of mad pool chillin', it was time for a pre-show feast at Hofbrauhaus, an excellent classic German restaurant that happened to be right across the street from the show. This place rules. They have delicious German meals, plenty of sausages and beers. It is wunderbar. If you need a good place to drink and feast in Vegas, come here. You will not be disappointed. Your bank account might be, but you won't be. A main attraction at Hofbrauhaus is this offer to take a shot and have a burly woman smack your ass with a paddle in front of everyone if you want to show your friends how freaky you are. We passed. But enough ass smacking, it's time for the show. We walked in about halfway through Midnight set, unfortunately. I wanted to catch their whole show, but what I saw was still fucking awesome. That band is always a good time. I appreciate having a dirty ass sleazy black and roll band out there. Midnight was definitely a great starter for the show and got the energy going. And then after them was Twin Temple. Now, I like Twin Temple. I enjoy their fun, kind of swing, doo-wop, whatever you want to call it, chill music with the satanic ritual theme. I do consider myself a fan, but man, it was just a crash in energy for the overall show. They played well and they sounded great, but they were billed between Midnight and Behemoth, and their music is not that same vibe. I just think it would have been better if they opened the show and they were chill, fun music, bringing the Satan rock into the show to get everyone kind of adjusted and started, and then got the energy skyrocketing from there, going from Midnight to Behemoth into Danzig. Just my personal opinion, but hey, I still think they're a neat band. But up next to wake everyone up was Behemoth. You know who they are. Behemoth is a band I've seen many times over the years, ever since the Apostasy album came out. They are always good live, and I for one appreciate an awesome stage show. However, I will say that this was probably my least favorite time seeing them. They were still good and entertaining, and headbanging to classics like Conquer All gave me flashbacks of the other times I've seen them. But personally, I'm not into the kind of postmodern influence they've been adding lately. The Satanist is one of my favorite albums ever, but I really did not like the one that came after that. Latest one wasn't bad though. But the band did sound good, they were full of energy, and Nurgle had a new wardrobe change for every song. And hearing their songs I grew up with as a young metal lad was awesome. After them, it was time for the man of the hour, Danzig. I've seen him maybe 5 times now, and this was probably the second best experience. He performed all of the first album, which was a great classic, and a whole shitload of other songs, including rarities like Bringer of Death. And the show was awesome. Danzig killed it, his voice sounded great, he looked like he was having a great time, he didn't complain about anything throughout the entire show. A lot of people know the legends of Danzig being a bit of a diva and a meme at times, but the last couple times I've seen him solo and with the Misfits, he's done really fucking good, I gotta say. The only issue I did have with this show was with the asshole security. Now I have absolutely no problem with concert security staff, but let me explain. It's no secret that Danzig is not a fan of cameras, let's say. I've seen him before where there were signs saying no cameras, or sometimes we'd have to put our phones in one of those sealed pouch things, which I actually kind of like. But at this particular show, not only were there no signs anywhere saying no phones, but during all of the other bands, people were using their cameras with no issues whatsoever. But then during Danzig, with absolutely no warning, no announcement, no explanation, this one fucking asshole security guard would go right up to people with their phones out and get right in their face while shining his flashlight in their phones. He was basically running up and checking people like they'd been fighting or throwing shit when they were just taking a normal Instagram video. I saw other security guards were occasionally going up to people who were filming and just quietly nudging them to put it down. I can get that, but this motherfucker was really pissing me off, especially when he'd shine the light in my face when I didn't have my phone out. And it was really fucking distracting when you're trying to enjoy an awesome show you paid money for, but some top flight security on a power trip dickhead is shining a flashlight in your eyes. So I did what any model citizen would do and kindly flipped him off. And he got very mad at that and started yelling at me. All while Danzig is performing on stage and can definitely see people with their phones out clearly recording in the crowd and has not said anything or made any gesture about it whatsoever. He's only pointing to people, doing thumbs up and throwing the horns at them, looking like he's actually having fun. I asked a friend of mine who was a concert security guard for a long time at a couple of different venues, and he said that the times he worked Danzig shows, they were told by his crew that Danzig doesn't particularly like cameras, so my friend would have signs posted around the venue saying no phones, and a majority of people would listen to it. That makes a lot more sense to me than shining a flashlight in people's faces without a heads up about it. I understand it's your job and you probably personally don't care about people filming, but you don't have to be such a cunt about it. It was especially hilarious when Danzig played Mother and so many people had their phones out that dickhead security guard just gave up and leaned against the stage. And Danzig definitely saw a sea of phones filming him during that song. So if you happen to be watching this video, tall, bald, bearded dickhead security guard at the Virgin Hotel Theater in Las Vegas, you're a cunt. Aside from that annoying moment, the show itself was great, the crowd was singing along to every song, the sound was awesome, and it was a great fucking time. The next morning after the show required a big breakfast from that same Irish pub I was just telling you about, which just so happened to be showing a live rugby match, so that's saying the pub suddenly got extremely packed with Irish fans. I'm not a sports ball guy at all and had no idea about the timing of this, but it made for a really fun and entertaining breakfast. After that, it was a 4-hour drive through the Mojave Desert, listening to a podcast about UFOs until arriving back in Southern California for Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie at the Honda Center in Anaheim. The first band to play was Filter, but we ended up missing them and accidentally arrived at the venue just as Ministry was starting their first song. I've seen Ministry a bunch of times over the years, but holy shit, this might have been the best time I've seen them. Industrial metal performed in an enclosed stadium is fucking amazing. Their sound was so powerful and hard-hitting, it was physically impossible to not headbang. Out of the whole weekend, Ministry were one of the best performances I saw for sure. And right after them, it was time for the one, the only, the legend himself, Alice Cooper. I'm a huge Alice fan. He's always been one of my rock and metal icons. And although I've seen him a bunch of times, I still had moments throughout this show where I caught myself going, that's Alice Cooper! He's right there!
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
He played a great set of pretty much all classics, including Poison, Billion Dollar Babies, I'm 18, and all the rest of the songs you know. One thing I was a bit surprised on, however, was he didn't really have that much stage props with him this time around. I've seen Alice perform with lots of theatrics and awesome spectacles. Here he did have his usual guillotine and a straitjacket, but that was honestly kind of it, which was weird. I would have definitely liked more of the show I've seen him do plenty of times before. But that said, he still sounded fucking great and put on an excellent show. Alice still dominates the stage even at 75 years old. That's fucking crazy. I know people in their 20s who are far lazier and in worse shape than this man. His band killed it too. They sounded heavy as fuck. I think this was the first time I've seen him since Nita Strauss joined the band, and she's an excellent musician who's way overqualified for the job. I'm really glad I got to see her with Alice, and it was awesome seeing the legend perform again. And to me, it really helped solidify his placing as one of rock and metal's ultimate legends in my eyes. Alice ended with Schools Out, obviously, and after how awesome his show was, it was easy to forget that there was still one more band. And not just anyone, the horror legend himself, Rob fucking Zombie. I've always been a big fan of Rob. He's one of my very first metal artists I ever got into, packing horror and fun into an epic spectacle of demons and monsters while Rob dances all over the stage. His stage show definitely eclipsed Alice's on this tour, packing in pyros, props, a massive drum riser, and a whole lot more. It was the 25th anniversary of his solo album Hellbilly Deluxe, another one of my favorite albums ever, and he played a good amount of songs from that. Hearing his old songs like Feel So Numb gave me major flashbacks to being a 13-year-old looking at band shirts and Hot Topic. As always, Zombie fucking killed it live. It was big, it was nostalgic, it was fun as fuck, and Rob was hilarious and charismatic as ever. Last song of the night was one of my very first metal songs ever that I still love just as much to this day. Dragula! Fucking amazing song and video with the whole crowd screaming along, flames shooting from the stage. I never get tired of that shit. The metal concerts came to an end there, but there was still another day of fun metal activities to be had around Southern California. And we figured what better way to cap off an epic metal weekend with a heavy metallic feast from Grill 'Em All. Grill 'Em All is a staple of the Los Angeles metal scene and has been scientifically proven to be the best damn restaurant ever. You can quote me on that. They're a burger shop that is 100% heavy metal all around. All over the walls they have posters, albums, and signings and memorabilia from metal bands. There's a wall where tons of bands including Power Trip, Gatecreeper, Armored Saint, Zakk Wylde, Nita Strauss, and a whole shitload more have signed when they've stopped in. Bands do signings here all the time. They're always blasting metal over the speakers and have metal videos and classic wrestling playing on their TV screen. Best of all, the burgers are really fucking good and are also heavy metal. All the burgers are massive. They stack entire separate meals onto a big ass burger that are all named after bands. Get the Behemoth burger, the Immortal, the Ghoul, my personal favorite, the Cowboy from Hell, which is a giant burger with shredded chicken and barbecue bacon. This place is so rad, it's one of my favorite spots in Southern California, so if you're in the area, definitely check out Grill 'Em All. And lastly, we stopped by an all-year-round Halloween store I love called Halloween Town in Burbank. This is an awesome shop with rare Halloween props and toys you won't find in your average cheap seasonal store. Get your classic Chucky dolls, your Freddy Krueger cardboard cutouts, any Halloween decoration you could possibly think of. Really dark and cryptic occult and satanic stuff. And they have plenty of heavy metal figurines. figurines. Here you can buy your own little Dio for your office desk, a Lemmy for your car, Eddie for your studio, Papa Emeritus or whatever his name is now for your church, and this mini King Diamond I got there one time. They also have this spooky house looking area in the store that is cool as fuck and has some really cool sculptures and items in. Sometimes when I need my Halloween fill before the season or I'm in need of decorations for my place, I like to stop in here and soak in the spookiness. And that was the end of my own little personal spooky metal festival weekend. Sure, it wasn't a festival, but shit, it was definitely better than some festivals I've been to. Sometimes you gotta be creative with what your idea of a festival is. Some people might refer to this as a simple vacation weekend with some concerts. Those people are boring. This was Wyatt's Spooky Metal Fest 2023, and it was awesome and went way better than Blue Ridge did. So don't let not having festivals near you stop you from giving yourself that same metal festival feeling. Get creative and adventurous. So do you have any concerts coming up you can spice it up by adding other awesome metal things to do with them? Any plans for any epic heavy metal vacations and holidays coming up? Let me know in the comments below. For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity on Instagram and here on the channel. We've got our first recordings coming up very soon, and we're playing our next show December 8th at the Rainbow Bar and Grill in Hollywood, and we'll be playing the Tulminator Festival next year in Slovenia. Can't fucking wait. If you liked the video, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even becoming a member if you like. Shout out to my Rockstar members for helping support the channel. You guys are awesome. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next video.